It doesn't help. That doesn't help. But let me tell you the answer. You ask either one of us, you say, if I was to ask the other one what door he was guarding, what would he say? Then whatever they say is the door they're guarding. Because if you happen to ask the one guarding hell, right? I'm guarding hell, by the way. I'm the devil. Steve's God, okay? So you asked me what Steve would say if you asked him what door he was guarding, and I'm going to lie. I know he'd say heaven, because he'd tell the truth, but I'm lying, so he'd say hell. So you know I'm guarding hell. If you ask Steve what door I was guarding, he'd tell the truth, right? So he'd say heaven, because he'd know I'd lie. So he's guarding heaven. So the question is, if I was to ask the other one what door he was guarding, what would he say? And whatever the person answers is the door they're guarding.
Steve, what door are you looking after?
Well,
heaven.
Yeah.
Why should I believe you?
Because you don't know. No, that doesn't work. Because you asked me the same, and I'd say heaven as well.
Right. So who do I believe? This is where you use your gut feeling, though, isn't it? This is what life's.
As opposed to the pure logic that Ricky's just used.
I just think because there's a lot of questions in life where you don't know the answer and you go, do you know what? I don't like the look of him. So...
They're identical.
Yeah, they're still identical twins. You always get a little snidey one.
Oh, chimpanzee, that is raining down. What?
That's the jingle there for Karl's Diary. Still a very popular feature on show 1/13. Here we are. Got a book sent to me called Freaks. It's a bit heavy, but it's got some interesting pictures in it. Read a bit about the two-headed nightingale. She/they was on tour in London years and years ago. It cost 2 shillings to have a front row seat. She/they had 2 heads/2 arms and 4 legs. They are called Siamese twins because the first twins that were born stuck together were Siamese. On one of the pictures, they are playing chess against the doctor. That hardly seems fair.
2 heads are better than 1.
So it's 2 heads, 2 arms, and 4 legs. That's just 2 women in one dress.
Yeah, that's 2 women with an arm missing.
Yeah. Spoke to Ricky and his friend Glyn about art. I just don't get it. Ricky had some odd pictures on his walls. I don't have any pictures up in my flat because of the mirrored wall. But I can't say I'm bothered. The mirrored wall, we should just explain what that is. When you moved into your flat, there was an enormous mirror on one wall. Was that right?
We just got this flat, and it's not a big flat, so I think the people who had it before us, he was a gay fella, right, which was a bit like, so you've been doing without mirror and that. But
What?
no, just
What has he been doing with the mirror?
Well, it's just no, it's just because they're quite sort of experimental in it, aren't they? And
I don't know. What do you mean? What do they do?
Well, I wouldn't know anything about it, but go on.
No, what do you want?
no, I don't.
Experimental in what
What do
way?
you mean experimental?
I just mean, they'd be doing stuff. Whatever they do.
Chemistry, how chemistry set out, they were doing experiments, what?
No, just doing what.
Singing I Am What I Am and just checking out the
Each
dance
I'm
moves.
not having a go at anyone, but I'm just saying, like, they're doing what they're doing. Which
Carl, you're not
is annoying as well.
are you? You're not.
No, I'm not. This is why.
Why are you worried about what a little gay fella was doing in your flat before you got it in front of a mirror?
I wasn't worried about it.
Why are you thinking about what he's doing? Why are you fantasising what a little gay fella was doing in front of your mirror in your...
I'm not bothered. I'm just telling you why it was a bit odd that he had a mirror in there, right? But forget the history.
But you've got a mirror in there now, haven't you?
No, because what I did was, I was going to take it down, and I thought, it's a bit dangerous. This, it could crack.
Because it's the size of the whole wall, isn't it?
It took up a whole wall.
Right.
So like, when he's moving about everywhere, he's got a good view of it and that. But he's got this full wall of mirror, and I thought, I can't take that down. And I thought, what can I do? So I've just put wallpaper on it.
Brilliant.
And it looks all right. You wouldn't know, have you? But it means that I can't put any pictures up. That's all I'm saying. Because I've put a nail in.
And what don't you understand about art? What about art don't you understand? The concept? Specifics?
Just the way some people like, the ones you've got, where it's just like a block of colour on a bit of canvas. It's like, what's that?
Abstract. It's just abstract. It's it's vibrancy of colour. It's an attack on the senses. Or there could be something in there that you might see. You might not see first time round, or it could be,
Yeah, but there's loads of stuff to look at without having to do that.
But
You've
that's
got
the point.
windows. I can understand if you had a cell and there's no windows and you want a bit of colour, but you've got a window to look out of, and you've got like just a big block of.
But I was explaining this to you, that the photograph where people before, the art was photography. It was realistic, and they had to make it look like the subject. But then when cameras came in, that's when people started doing surreal stuff. And
I understand that.
Otherwise, there was no point to it. They had to find a new way to represent things that photography couldn't do as such.
No, so, that's like when we were in London having a shop around at Christmas, and there was that picture of fruit for 700 quid. It's like, well, just get some fruit. You know what I mean? You can get some real fruit for 3 quid.
Yeah.
I understand that, but there's nothing wrong with like having a. Don't invent cameras then, one or the other. Do you know what I mean? That's what annoys me. Someone invents something, and then they go, we've got to invent something else. Like the abstract thing. Why has someone gone, I can't have paintings anymore because.
What do you think of Dali? Going melting clocks and stuff. No?
I mean, the first one was all right when he did the first clock, but then all the time he's just like, I'll draw something and it's got a melting clock on it. I'll do a sheep, put one of them on it.
Have you seen his lobster telephone?
That annoys me.
Why?
Because he's not. I mean, what annoyed me more with that is when I heard about how it happened. He had some artist mate round, right? And I don't know what happened. They were eating.
That's a hell of an anecdote.
No, but they were eating. They were eating some food and what have you.
Yeah.
Lobsters?
And they were eating lobster.
Oh,
and
that's handy.
I don't know, the other artist, whoever it was, sort of started saying, you and your clocks and all that, right?
Brilliant.
And,
this didn't happen.
They started arguing, and he chucked some of the lobster.
Bollocks.
And it landed on the phone. Bounced off his mate's head, went on the phone, and they both looked at each other like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? And they brought out that phone as a bit of art. Things like that annoy me. Because it was then just messing about.
That didn't happen.
Just telling you what I know. I saw his work. Each to their own, if that's what he's doing. I'm just saying, I'm not putting my stamp of approval on it.
Heaven forbid. Well, as you mentioned in your diary, your favourite artist is Lowry, because you can look at them for ages and see someone different every time you look at it.
All I'm saying is, art should be there to tell a story, not just to have a splash of colour. We know colours out there, there's loads of colour. We don't need to be reminded of it.
But colour's part of our evolution, and so it does something to us. Just like sounds.
Yeah, but I'm saying, do a picture.
Smells.
Colour it in. Still use the colours, but draw something with it rather than just going a bit of yellow, a bit of red. Like the one you've got, just red and black. What's that meant to do?
Well, it does something.
What?
Well, I like it, I enjoy it, so it does something.
You have it then. I'm just saying, I prefer it if it was something.
And so let me just get straight. You had a mirror on one wall, so you padded that wall.
It's just
and
sort
you
of,
padded the others.
It's just sort of wallpaper on it.
Right.
Amazing.
And there's no other art in there.
No,
it's just an empty cell.
Well, Suzanne like some art. Just like Suzanne's not allowed to watch telly unless it's a favourite thing. Otherwise, she's got to talk to me about stuff. There's no art. There's no point. Just wallpaper.
I'm just saying, we've got three windows we can look out of.
Right.
Right? Stop looking at the walls, look out the window.
Some new words have been introduced into the dictionary. Too many words. We should have some system where we can get rid of words if they aren't used a certain number of times.
Well, that we do.
They do die out, don't they, eventually?
Like what?
You don't have to use them.
No, but they don't, do they? They keep adding them. And I just worry about, this is the problem with, like, your head can only hold so much, can't it?
Yeah.
It all very well when Adam and Eve was knocking about. There's no history, they don't have to remember anything. All I'm saying is, fine, bring out a new word, but once you bring out a new one, bin another one. The dictionary's getting bigger and bigger, no one's keeping an eye on it.
Well, I think they are.
They're not, they keep adding.
It doesn't grow. They don't just dig it up one day. It's got bigger. What have you done?
So
left it out.
You're happy for them to stick in iPod, let's say.
But we can pride ourselves on having more words in the English language than any other language. I think we've got twice as many as the second.
Yeah.
I think maybe Russian. I'm not sure about that. I'm sure someone will email us. But
we don't talk the most, so there's a lot of clutter there.
What do you mean we don't talk the most?
Well, you'd say
Nothing
that.
as expressive as the English language.
Yeah, no, because we've got a word for everything. I'm just saying that I don't use all these words that are coming out, and I just think, like I say, keep an eye on it. Some sort of, I don't know how it can be controlled.
But Shakespeare invented words. I think Shakespeare invented about 1,200 words.
Yeah, we're probably still using a lot of his. So why do we keep sticking more in the pot?
Right.
Stop using loads of words.
People are panicking in New York about the snow they're getting. It's 2 foot deep. They're saying it's to do with global warming. I don't get it. 2 days ago they were saying the world's getting warmer and the ice is melting on one of the poles where the polar bears are. As long as we get snow on the world, does it matter where it goes? Read on the internet that heads are bigger now than they were years ago. Brains are getting bigger apparently. This is because we're being told too much information. We are told too much stuff about things that we wouldn't have known about years ago. You've just made that leap, haven't you? Presume maybe heads and brains are getting larger, but the fact that it's because there's too much information cramming in them. Where
Well,
have you
it
got
is
that from?
as time goes on, isn't it? It's that thing of we're being taught more and more every day. As time goes on, something's happening every day. You've got to remember that.
No, you haven't.
You have. It's the same, like I said, you know, with the Adam and Eve thing. They didn't have that much to remember. They come on the world, they go, what happened yesterday? Oh, not much.
Well, in the all-new Ricky Gervais show, there is no monkey news as such. That's going to come back, Carl. You've got to bring that back. But we're going to do something that we used to do on our local radio show called Rockbusters. Sounds a bit like Blockbusters, a television programme that used to be on television where they gave sort of real cryptic clues. Yours aren't cryptic clues, yours are ridiculous. So explain Rockbusters.
Give out an initial of an artist or a band knocking about like now or ages ago, and I give a cryptic clue.
Not a cryptic clue. Very rarely cryptic. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's nonsense, but...
Well, as we once said, I think it is more accurately described a craptic clue.
Yeah.
Well...
Or what am I thinking?
Well, are you going to give an example, or will we just do them?
The classic example, of course, for me is a woman. She's an artist. The initials are WH. She was wandering around in Texas. She fell over. A part of her leg fell in a puddle. Wet knee, Houston.
That is the level.
That's what you're working with, people.
So he's going to give 3 of these. The first email that gets them all right, the first email we get, and it's timed, isn't it, email, so we can know, that gets all these clues exactly right, can win, a signed photo of Karl?
Now that is exclusive. There are not very many. I don't think they even exist, do they? There are no signed photos of Karl, so this will be a collector's item.
Right. So, there's 3 different ones. When you send it in on email, podcast@rickygervais.com, just put in the subject thing like Rockbusters, so I know what I'm looking for. Right then, so three different clues for you to work on. First one.
Oh, shouldn't I do a jingle for this?
Please.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds cryptic. No, I'm not getting.
Rockbusters.
Right, first one, the initial, right, is B.
The initial B, band
B,
or artist.
So, band or an artist beginning with the letter B. The cryptic clue. Well, I don't want a house that's that far away from the water. I want to be right on top of it. Right, that's the cryptic clue. Well, I don't want a house that far away from the water. I want to be right on top of it. Right? B, artist or band. Who is it? Right, work on that one. Second one, it's B again. B, letter B for the band or the artist.
All right.
Cryptic clue. Right. That part of my leg is English.
That's it, is it?
Yeah.
Right.
That part of my leg is English. Initial B. What is it? Part of my leg is English. And then the last one, KW, artist or band. And the cryptic clue, the fitness teacher has got a speech impediment. What's going on there? Right, KW, the fitness teacher has got a speech impediment. Work on them, right? Send in the answers, podcast@rickygervais.com, and just win some Still a signed picture of that.
A signed picture of Karl Pilkington. Also, when you're sending in your answers, or indeed if you don't have the answers but you just want to get in touch, podcast@rickygervais.com. If you've got anything that you think might be of interest to Karl, we're looking for, as Ricky was giving him earlier, scientific facts, stories you've read about, anything which you think might just pique his interest. Send them in, podcast@rickygervais.com.
Well, that's it. That's the end of the first episode of the all-new Ricky Gervais show.
Sounded very similar to the old one.
Yeah. It's
Why change a winning formula?
Exactly. And if you're missing the old ones, the complete archive of all our podcasts are available from next week.
Go to audible.com, find out how to get to it.
Absolutely.
For any of your queries and questions, go to rickygervais.com. That tells you where you need to go for any Ricky Gervais podcasts or the new shows. It's all there. That'll explain it.
So it's goodbye from me, Ricky Gervais. Goodbye from Steve Merchant.
Goodbye.
And Karl Pilkington.
All right.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Hello, welcome to the 10th podcast in a series of 12. Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant. Hello. And of course, Karl Pilkington.
Right.
Now, thanks for all your emails. We've really started a community here, I think.
Yes.
We're all brought together by one aim. The fascination of the brain of Karl Pilkington, basically.
Yes, absolutely. There's thousands of people who are equally as obsessed as we are with it.
I really don't know why it's called the Ricky Gervais Show anymore. I mean, I was cynical at the beginning, but it's farcical. Welcome to the Karl Pilkington Show.
Well, people say they'd like to hear more from you and I, but I don't see why when you've got
do you know
this
what I feel
in
like?
the room.
I feel like the ringmaster, but the real star is the shaved monkey in a jar that we bring out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it. That's the star of the show, you know.
Yeah.
Well, we've had loads of emails actually, and we've had one from Nige, who's done this brilliant cartoon of Karl on the beach. I think we should sell those as postcards. But someone's beaten us to selling merchandise. If you go to www.cafepress.com/Mr. Pilkington, someone is selling everything with Karl Pilkington's head on it. Now, these are bootleg goods. We're not making any money from it, but I'm strangely proud. I just love to see millions of people wearing a little t-shirt or a baseball cap or drinking out of a mug with his little round head on it. He's made a clock which is perfect because it fits absolutely, you know what I mean, the sides of the head go right to the edge of the clock because it's perfectly
I'd
round.
like to see maybe as well those sort of rubber or plastic face masks that you can buy for Halloween with just Karl's face.
Oh, just millions of people all look like Karl. Oh, that would be amazing. What a world that would be.
James Bevan has emailed in. He's from Abergavenny in South Wales. I'm going to read this verbatim. Me and my partner Ellie Richards are both huge fans of the podcast, and as she's not aware of this email, I would love it if one of you, please, on the podcast, would ask her to marry me. So please ask Ellie Richards from Abergavenny if she will marry James Bevan. Cheers, keep up the great podcast work.
Well, that's done then.
Well, no, you see, now I was thinking like this, and I know that I'm the one who's read that out, but I'm thinking they're almost certainly going to want you, Rick, to do the questioning, because they don't want to go in years to come. Do you know who asked Ellie to marry me on my behalf? It was that lanky bloke you sometimes see stood behind Ricky Gervais at an awards do. It's too complicated. They want to go, it was the comedy legend Ricky Gervais.
But I think Karl's a comedy legend.
He is, but once again, Karl, he might be a passing fad. We might all get bored of him, in a year's time. It could be like tie-dye t-shirts. So I'm thinking maybe where it's you, you've made your mark on the comedy landscape.
Maybe I don't want to endorse this. I don't know what he's like. I don't want to suggest to a woman to marry this man I don't know. What if she goes back and sues me for selling some? It's like me selling the rest of her life to this bloke on the podcast.
No, because it's more for her if he's a loser and a weirdo and she agrees to marry him. She knows the guy. She's already got herself in a position where this man's emailing some people he's never met before. So she already understands what James is like.
Okay. Based on your own experiences, Ellie, make the decision whether to marry, who is it? James or not.
I think just could you do one once more, because that's probably not quite as eloquent as they were looking for. So get on one.
Ellie, James says, will you marry him? This does not reflect the views of the management.
So obviously, James, you will obviously let us know what Ellie's response is. We look forward enormously to finding out whether she's seen sense and said no.
Could he marry again in about 40, 50 years to say if the marriage is still going?
And also, we should just point out as well that if, because I think 1 in 3 marriages end in divorce.
All right, don't bring the tone down.
All I'm saying is if they do end up getting divorced, we should not in any way be responsible for that.
No.
We can't be held responsible. We shouldn't have to pay any kind of child support if there's a kid involved. We're not paying any alimony. We are merely the messengers in this.
Yeah.
Carl, are you going to give them all the thumbs up there? Do you wish them all the best?
Yeah, if that's what they want to do and that, just get on with it. It's all right. Some people are into all that, aren't they?
I mean, you've been with Suzanne a long time and still no wedding bells on the horizon.
Well, it's gone past that time now. I think if you don't do it within the first sort of 9 months or something, it's kind of like, what's the point now? And I mean, she goes on about it a lot, but I'm not. No, I'm not sort of. I don't like all the attention and that. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone stood there watching and stuff. That puts me off.
So that's your only reason for not getting married, is it? You just don't like the event?
Mainly that, yeah. I mean, it's not the thing. Like I said to you before, if you could do it online, if it was just a little box that you tick,
Sure.
I do, send, get back to work by midday and what have you.
Yeah.
But it's like a full day and you've got to like smile and that.
Heaven forbid, yeah.
It's just hard work, isn't it?
Oh, pretend it's the happiest day of your life.
But surely, if Suzanne, the woman you love, wants this very dearly, why not give it to her as a gift? Obviously, get your old work to pay for it. But yeah, why not give her the gift
Because
of the
I've
special
given her
day?
loads of other stuff.
Yeah.
We have an alright life, and I think that can mess it up. The brother got married.
We have an all right life. That's the best he can say. We have an all right life.
No, something I said to her, right, which, maybe this could catch on, right, a way around it. At the end of the day, you only get married so you can have the same name. I think it'd be really good if when you go on dates and that, if you met people who have the same surname.
Brilliant.
And then you don't have to worry.
That's amazing.
Do a search on like other Pilkingtons. If you look alright, yeah, I'll go out with her. Job done. Don't ever have to worry about getting married and that.
Brilliant. That's one of the most stupid theories. Oh, no, it's not. the injecting the 78-year-old dead woman with a baby was probably worse than that. But anyway, let's move on.
It's the most stupid theory we've heard today.
Exactly.
But I'm suspecting there's going to be a few more before the end of this
Exactly.
podcast.
So far. Yeah.
Cheers for that, love. Yeah, it's Karl Pilkington here. Just telling you about Channel 4 on a Friday. We've got a new Green Wing, right? That's nearly ready. My name is Earl, and the It Crown. I mean, sort of being in the comedy business and that, I think it's fair to say I'm qualified to give my opinion, and these 3 things are funny, so yeah, stay in, watch it, have a good night, have a nice little brew with it, do what you want. At the end of the day, it's your life, isn't it? See it.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Still to come, of course, Monkey News and Carl's diary, excerpts thereof. I wonder if we should have a jingle for questions for Carl, because there's a lot of questions coming for Carl.
Okay.
Oh, chimpanzee, that question's for Carl.
Yeah, okay, no, fair enough, that works. This is from Jim and Bob in Manchester. Carl, if you could talk to any animal, which one would it be and what would you say to it?
Insect, animal, anything, fish, anything.
Well, they said animal, but that's broad to anything.
Animal,
creature.
Insect is an animal.
Yeah, no, but I'm just, I don't want to get it wrong. I'm just thinking about.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff out there, isn't there? I'd probably go for the tortoise.
Okay.
Because it would take a long time to walk away from you while you were talking.
No, just because...
Most animals would be off straight away.
Yeah.
Just because they live for ages, so they'll have loads of stories. They've lived through a lot, you know what I mean, through wars and stuff. If you get an old one, if you get like an old one, that's about...
Most of them have lived in a box in a garden for 52 years.
No, but you get some that have been about, and even if it's in a box,
Oh yeah,
looking over it.
they've really travelled, haven't they?
I mean,
Some of them have experienced more than you.
Yeah.
But they've broadened their horizons a bit more than you. They could probably teach you a thing or two, yeah.
And what would you hope to learn from them?
just history.
Right. From their very specific tortoise perspective. Other emails. We've had a lot of questions about time travel. People are fascinated about your approach to time travel. And I know we've talked about this in the past, but this is a very specific time travel question. If you had a time machine, Carl, to what event in your childhood would you travel back to and why?
What's the point in going back to things that you thought... No, it's just that it's never as good as it. It's like a place you go on holiday. and you go back thinking it'll be as good as the first time. It never is. So I don't believe in going back to places.
What do you understand the question as? Do you think they're asking, would you go back like a ghost and spy? Would you go back and you've got your childhood back? You are that child again. You're in the body. You are the child, or you've got your.
I'm on this, am I?
Yeah.
What am I doing here?
What? Just saying hello.
Hello?
No. Let us do the introductions. We're doing 2 introductions in the 2 shows. Oh, yeah. Fuck me.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Right, welcome again to the Ricky Gervais Show on this Guardian podcast with me, Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, and
hello
of course, hello there.
Thanks.
And of course our producer Karl Pilkington.
Carl, can I ask you a question? I know this is what a lot of the fans are already wondering. Is there going to be some monkey news today?
There's got to be.
Of course there is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Question.
Well, I'm worried because maybe this will steal your thunder. But Sarah Greer has emailed this in, once again, emailed to podcast@rickygervais.com. Chimp mauling under investigation. I know you're concerned, because this actually fuses 2 of our greatest features, Monkey News and Knob News, into one seamless whole. Investigators said they are trying to figure out how 2 chimpanzees that viciously attacked a visitor at an animal sanctuary escaped from their cage. This is the grim bit. The chimps chewed off a man's nose and severely mauled his genitals and limbs.
Why did they go for his genitals?
Both of them did as well.
Eh?
Both of them. Did you say 2 chimps?
No, you're right, yeah, it was chimpanzees too. Yeah, I don't know if both of them went, they just saw that they're dangling away and they
You
just
go
went,
for the nose? I'm off his bollocks.
Now, what accent have they got there?
I
those
don't
chimps?
know.
Were they kind of New York gangster chimps? They're like soprano chimps.
What happened to them anyway?
What happened to what?
The 2 guilty monkeys.
Well, unfortunately, they were shot dead by the authorities.
You see, that annoys me a bit.
I know, but again,
What are you talking about? They're attacking people's gonads.
I know, but they were happy in an African jungle a couple of years ago.
That's what we do, isn't it?
That is what they do. That's what animals do. Animals fight. Do you remember when that bloke?
So what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to let them just wander off into the local mall and maybe savage some young children, or a bucket with a face paint on it?
No, all I'm saying is you don't shoot them for doing what's natural to them. They
Yes,
didn't
you
want to.
do.
Why?
If anything attacks anyone's balls,
No, but why is it-
No. Maybe they were shot during it. You're allowed to shoot something that's doing something. But if were they executed or were they shot in the attack?
No, it says he shot them. Well, he shot them to death. I'm assuming he shot them to death as they were legging it off.
But why aren't they just sort of tranquilised? Where was
Why
this?
am I
Was this
being
in a
accused
zoo?
like it was my fault? Just because I happen to be reading Sarah Greer, who emailed it, is the one who should be getting a
It just
molecule.
annoys me how one way it's kind of like, you know, we're trying to save the pandas, and then the next day someone's shooting them or whatever. I know he's not a panda, but all I'm saying
So
is it's double
therefore, all
standards.
argument falls apart. But go on.
No, but what I'm saying is, what would happen? I've talked about this before about St. George killed the last dragon, right?
No, it didn't exist.
It's the same thing though.
No, there's never been any dragons. It's
No.
a mythical creature.
Well, you don't
By
know
mythical,
that.
it means we made this up, like the unicorn.
Well,
I don't even. What was your point about the dragon? What's that got to do with
because
this?
I'm saying how, like, why is it all right to be going around, going mental with a gun, shooting all the monkeys and killing them? Because one day we're going to run out.
What are you talking about? How have you extrapolated from this one incident of a couple of testy, happy
That's what I'm
monkeys?
saying. That's what I'm saying. One incident. They only did it once. They've got a
But
bullet.
they're not shooting around and making them extinct, are they?
If they carry on like that, they will.
Well, it's up to the monkeys to stop attacking people's private parts. It's
as-
got to be a give and take here.
No,
I'm
come
sorry.
on. That monkey doesn't know why it's in a cage. It's not going, oh, this is for my own good. It's like, even if it's animal husbandry, they're not sitting there going, well, I'll tell you what, let's stay here, because it's, you know, they're trying to do a nice little breeding programme here. Or we could get out and do what we do best, run amok, eat some bollocks, right, and have a good time. Right? They don't know what they're doing. They don't, and Carl's right. The poor little bastards get a bullet in the head.
For what?
And I'm saying, if they're attacking a human, shoot them to stop them. That's fine, okay? But if they're running away and they're, you know, don't shoot them in the back like a coward.
This was an animal sanctuary, though. So presumably they had quite a cushy time there, because most of the ones I've visited, they've always got it easy. They're hanging around on tyres, they've got comfy chairs, they're wanking, they're going berserk, they're loving it. So, you say that, I think I don't know, I just think there was something nasty, there was something a bit warped in these monkeys. I mean...
But hang on a minute, you've just answered your own question there. You said they're in a sanctuary, so they haven't had a good upbringing, so they're going to be a bit more, madder than other monkeys, aren't they? Because that's where the ill ones go, isn't it?
Sorry, what do you understand by sanctuary?
Well, I've been to one for seals.
It's not like a borstal.
Yeah, exactly. It's a borstal.
It's like scum.
Yeah. They did some bad stuff in the jungle, and they had a little monkey court, and they went send him to borstal.
Well, what is it then?
No, it's a monkey sanctuary where it like a haven.
Well, it's not a haven, is it? It's got a bullet in the head.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Talking of eating knobs.
Yeah.
Ginny Goulden. Now
What's she been up to?
Well, you saw it in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
I haven't been watching it.
She popped a little kangaroo knob in the mouth, chewed it up.
What, she just found it? Did she lie around?
No, it was one of the things that she actually...
Oh, it was one of the challenges.
Carol Thatcher, a daughter of one of our leaders.
Sure.
She popped a couple of bollocks in the mouth, chewed them up, swallowed them.
Oh.
And Ginny Goulden, there was a kangaroo penis there, dried. She couldn't even get... It was so tough, she couldn't even get through it. And then she... eventually she eats it.
What, was it like a pepperoni?
Yeah. And she said, what do you think of that, Carl?
What, eating that sort of stuff?
Yeah.
I watch it. I like those little trial bits, right?
Yeah.
But what I don't think people realise is, right, it is hard eating a little kangaroo knob. Right?
Really? How do you know?
No, it's just, you think about it and you go, oh, I couldn't do that, right? But what they never mention on the TV programme, which I think takes it to the next level, right? They're eating that at 7:30 in the morning.
Sure. Right.
Which is worse, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If I was there and Ant and Dec said, right, Carl, eat the knob, I'd go, hang on a minute, give us a few hours, let me get some rice and that on my belly, and just sort of fill me up a little bit more. I'll pop back at about 6:30 this evening,
right.
have it ready. And I'd be happier then. It's just that thing of, you don't want to
eat animal genitals on an empty stomach.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying, I could eat a knob at night, but...
Just cut that there. We'll loop that. If any DJs are listening, just take that quote, I could eat a knob at night, by Karl Pilkington. Maybe do a dance remix.
Yeah, I think maybe you're sort of a house producer and you could maybe get some kind of high energy beat going and then we could just send that out to some of the gay clubs. I'm sure it would be really popular.
Please anyone, send us, that loop with a nice little, funky house beat. Karl Pilkington saying I could eat a knob at night.
No, but do you know what I mean then? With that?
Not really.
Well, okay then, right. Okay. Now, I couldn't do it. I could not do it. I couldn't pop a kangaroo testicle in my mouth and chew it. It was disgusting to watch. She was eating witchetty grubs. Good on them because they were doing it. But then again, I think, well, they wanted to go in there. They knew they were up for it. So on the one hand, I think, is that admirable and is that showing sort of like good British metal, or is it, I'll do anything to get on telly for a week? I don't know. You know what I mean? Where does it stop? I thought Rebecca Lewis went too far when she gave the little pig a tug, but at least she knew where to stop.
Yeah.
She didn't,
well, it's obvious when you have to stop.
Yeah, but
the pig tells you that.
To pop the Also, again, where's the kangaroo hopping around without a cock?
I'll tell you, here's another question, right? Bit of a spin-off with animals and that. Have you ever, right, Steve, killed a fly?
Probably, yes.
Right? Well, I was watching David Attenborough, right? He makes his money out of flies and that, doesn't he? Do you think he's ever killed one, or does he go, well, I can't kill that fly or that spider, because that's how I make my money?
I don't know what the question is.
I don't know what this question is.
Like my mum, right, she said, if a fly is knocking about the house, she never kills it, she always catches it and puts it out and that, and she said she'd never kill it.
Who is she, Mr Miyagi? What do you mean she catches it? How does she catch
with
it?
a pair of chopsticks.
No, she...
Rick, it's that time again. It's what everyone's waiting for. Can you do the jingle for us?
Oh, chimpanzee, that monkey news.
Right, this week the monkey news is about, we all know, there's monkeys knocking about that aren't happy in this country.
Sure. It is a big problem, yeah, it's an epidemic.
So they've set up like this sanctuary place.
Okay.
Where they all go. The ones that aren't happy in the zoo and what have you, it's getting them down.
They can phone a number and they'll come and pick them up.
Pop them in this house place, right? And basically, they can run riot in there.
Yeah.
To get freedom to sort of cheer themselves up. It's like, don't have a go at them. If they want to do such a thing, let them have a go and what have you, right?
Yeah.
There's 3 people running this place, right? And one of them...
Sorry, where is this place for wayward chimps who don't like the zoo? What are you talking about? A house where they can do what they want?
I'm not sure where it is.
That's a surprise. Go on.
But there's this place anyway. It doesn't matter where it is, does it, at the end of the day? I'm just telling you what the problem is. We haven't got to the problem bit yet.
Go on.
I'm just building up to it, right? So these monkeys, big house and that...
PlayStation, anything they want.
Gym, all that lot. Gym. So, anyway, I'll cut to the chase, whatever. One of them wanted to mess about with the woman's breasts. Right?
Which woman's breasts?
The woman who works there.
Right.
And she was like, right, pack it in, we've all had a bit of fun. We've been in the gym and everything. She, obviously, got a bit excited and that. He was fired up and that, ready for more action and that. He's trying to have a go on this woman's breast, right? She was like,
have a go.
She was like, no, you're not doing that, pack it in and all that. The boss who's running the place was like, come on, let him have a go.
No. Right, you're talking shit.
I'm telling you what, I know sometimes I step over the mark and they made
Right, so where is this place where... Well, one, where is this house where chimps are allowed to play one? And 2, where is this place where one of the bosses, one of the human bosses, suggests to the other one, oh, and if the chimp wants to play with your tits, love, let the chimp play with his head.
I've said before, Rick, will you please stop interrupting
No,
me?
but listen, it's all right, Steve, because what I'll do, I'll bring the link and you can put the link on the website and people can have a look at the proper story. I'm just giving it them in the right headline form here. They can read the full thing.
No, you've only read the headline form.
I haven't read it. I sort of read like the first...
It was probably monkey feels a right tit, and you've extrapolated all this from that.
So anyway, right, so he's there. And
So the boss says, yeah, you can have a go.
The boss is saying, let him have a go.
Come on, Rita, if monkey wants to play it with nipples, let him.
So she's like, I'm not happy with this, and he's going, come on, you know the rules here, we've got to cheer these monkeys up.
This is absolutely
Actually, no, and in the end, because she didn't allow it to happen, the fella bloke sacked her, got someone else in. This isn't made up. I will put the link on the website and everyone can have a look at it, but basically...
I want to see the advert he put in the Guardian media page. I love that. Woman wanted to let chimp feel tits whenever it wants.
It's all up there.
You're talking absolute shit again.
Well,
that is no way that happened.
The Ricky Gervais Show on Guardian Unlimited.
Do you know the other week when I came up with like a different idea of how we can sort of make the world run and that?
Can we just have a quick recap of that? Because I seem to remember it was a load of old arse.
It was ridiculous. It was. He was saying that the world is overpopulated, so the system would be where people were living too long and stuff. So what happens is people live till 78. I don't know how he can enforce that, right? But when they die, they've got a little baby in their stomach, like a pip in an apple, that then carries on when they die.
Right.
It wasn't a theory. It wasn't an idea. It was the ramblings of a mental case.
You're saying it's stupid, but someone's emailed in and said, "Oh yeah, that's pretty good."
Yeah, and Okay, I'm asking you again. Was the letter written in shit?
Anyway, listen, right.
Did it say the mental home, Mars?
I've been thinking about it, right? And if we can't do that, right, if that's a no to that, right?
Well, it's not a question of whether we can do it or not.
Just saying, if that's a no, right? I've been thinking.
It is a no. This is going to be brilliant.
There's a lot of weird.
You could win the Nobel Prize for this.
But listen, there is a lot of ways, isn't there, in the world that some creatures and that go about sort of moving on. If you know what I mean.
Evolution, you mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, on that David Attenborough programme that he's doing at the moment, he's always showing you little insects and what they've got to do, and there was one about a wasp, right, that had to fly about, right, for ages, looking out for a certain type of spider, right?
It lays its egg in the
spider. When I saw it, it whizzes down, right? It lands on its back, so that he's got to get that right? It lands on it. I don't think the spider's up for anything. That isn't even aware of this is how things move about. He's not going, I've got to look out for a wasp. So all this is like, it's got to be perfect timing. So this wasp dived down, right, sat on the back of this spider. It injects it or something with a maggot or something, right? And then that maggot then lives off the spider for a bit. The spider knows it's got a maggot in it.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
No, it doesn't.
And it's making a web for it. He goes, I've got something to look after here now. I've got responsibilities. He makes a web, right? It sort of reverses into it and puts the maggot on the web. The maggot sort of clings onto the web. Spider's there. Maggot eats the spider, and then it moves on. If I came up with that idea for like a method, you'd say that's never going to happen.
It's not the fact that you came up with the idea, right, for an old lady dying at 78 with a baby growing in her that then lives on. It's nonsense. It's no idea. It's how can it be enforced? It's like, so even if scientists thought that was the best idea in the world, how would they enforce it? Who's going to go, that's a good idea, we've never thought of that.
Yes, but what I'm saying
Get in Elsie.
Who told the wasp to look out for that spider, to go on its back, to do,
What do you mean you told
this
the wasp?
before to
It's
you.
evolution, it's natural selection.
Yeah, but I can understand, we've chatted about it before about giraffes having a long neck, but you're talking about a wasp and a spider who...
That's because you're attributing thought and will behind their behaviour. Behaviour in humans is linked with free will.
Yeah, but most of what we do, say like how we have a kid at the moment, you don't just jump on the back of a woman and go, there you go, love, and then the baby pops out.
You didn't come from Bristol.
No, what I'm saying is, right, it's all, you build up to it, don't you? You have that bit of a chat and you go, right, how's it going? Yeah, and you get on and that, and then a little baby will come out.
This is the most...
Wait. Well, I'm going to go back to the dating procedure there. You have a chat, you go all right, and then a little baby comes out. That's extraordinary.
This is amazing. This is incredible.
I tell you, two-bit radio's game was secondary school's loss. It really was.
This is my first Pilgrim book. Unbelievable.
What I mean is, we all get on. What I'm saying is, at what point is a wasp ever going to have a chat with a spider or meet up with it?
I don't even understand where we are now in this conversation.
Is a wasp going to ever have a chat with a spider? No. What world do you live in? What's in your head?
No,
I can't believe it. Carl, is a wasp ever going to have a chat with a spider?
So in some kind of weird insect nightclub, these wasps and these maggots and they're getting on. Is that how you're imagining it?
That's what I'm saying to you. What are the odds on that actually happening?
But listen. You're thinking because behaviour in lower forms of life is purely chemical. It's purely, it bypasses any form of consciousness. Right? There's a parasite that's like a flatworm, a platyhelminth, or it might be a nematode. It's some sort of invertebrate. Yeah, that it lays its egg. The beginning of its cycle is in a stickleback. Okay. And it literally has to change the stickleback's behaviour, okay? Because it has to get into a warm-blooded animal to complete its cycle. So what it does is, this parasite makes the stickleback not flee from the shadow of a heron. So it makes the stickleback get eaten, right? So it then is in the belly of a warm-blooded animal and it can complete its life cycle. But at no point is the nematode or the platyhelminth, whatever it is, going... Slow down, there's a heron coming. Stay here, stay here, stay here. And the stickleback going, why? I don't want to stay, there's a heron. There's no conversation. It's not they get together and go, listen, I've got something that might be mutually beneficial to both of us. I need to get into a heron. You like to be eaten by a heron? No, I don't. Oh, well, where's this conversation?
Yes, you do. It's got Jedi
Yes,
powers.
you do.
No, all I'm saying is, the idea that I came up with, you're sort of saying that's a crazy...
It's not an idea, it's not an idea.
How many times have we heard all I'm saying is, and then such a stream of nonsense that it's blown our minds?
No, but that's all I'm saying. That, what you just explained there with the heron having to knock about and for a flea to be sat in the shade and that...
That is incredible. That translation of what I said that sums it up for me. Yeah. He sees a headline, he reads a book. It then goes through this weird filtering system with, I imagine the music in his head is discordant piano.
I think the noise in Carl's head is like a fax machine. If you've ever got that at full volume.
I think it's like a Czechoslovakian cartoon from 1963.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like noises like woks being hit, and pianos just being hit by elbow.
He's an impression. You can give him a body of information, and he strips away the facts.
But the way he said that, I talked about clearly talked about some sort of parasite in a stickleback that makes its behaviour change so it doesn't flee the heron's shadow. He said, so there's an heron with a flea who doesn't like the shade. How did it come up? I mean...
it doesn't matter, forget that, right? But
What's your theory? What's your theory?
What I'm saying is I've come up with something else that I want to run by you then.
Go on then.
So you've sort of boo-booed the idea...
Boo-booed.
Boo-booed it. We have boo-booed it.
He shows a completely different bear. Yeah. It was originally Poo-Poo the bear, but now it's Boo-Boo the bear. Brilliant.
So you've said no to, the old woman having a kid, right, before she dies. What about if we do it the other way, right?
Go on.
Somehow, I don't know how...
A kid has an old lady?
That's what it's going to be, isn't it? A child will give birth to an old man.
No.
Right.
What I'm saying is, right...
Go on.
Work the other way round.
Come on then.
So if somehow we can inject something in like a body that's just died, right?
Listen to this. Imagine this as notes.
So
when he hands it into the Nobel people, and they go, if there's a way that we can inject something, they go, well, what? Well, I don't know the chemical formula, but something HO2.
Right. So anyway, so you inject it in the temple.
He's narrowed it down to the temple.
Well, that's
fine.
Right.
Yes, we inject something.
So you inject it in.
Who are you injecting?
This old woman who's she's been ill and that she died.
So she's dead. So we're bringing old people back to life. Okay, fine. That's step one. We just got to sort that out first. But fine. We'll crack that. Go on next. So we brought him.
Are you with me?
No, keep it.
Because the thing is, you've got.
I'm really scared.
Yeah.
I'm really scared. This is the maddest thing you've ever said. This is madder than the old lady with the pip like an apple in her belly.
It sort of did work.
No, it didn't work. It worked in your head. It's like a dream that you wake up and go, oh, I've got a great theory.
This is it. Let me just tell you the ending, because the ending works out a bit better.
Go on.
What I'm saying is, when you die, at the age of
78.
9 months.
What?
At the age of 9 months, because that's when you come out.
What do you mean when you die at the age of 9
You're
months?
not scared of dying because you're now a baby, so you don't know what's going on anyway. So there's no...
So you've missed out a bit here. So this woman, literally gets younger and younger?
I think when she's in her 20s, she's in her old age, Rick.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because that's the fun part of your life, isn't it? When you're 20 and you've got all your energy and that. So before you die, you're actually having a good life rather than it being the other way around.
But does she do different stuff than she did on the way up? Because she's already lived 78 years, hasn't she? Don't forget. She was a baby once, and she grew to 78 years. Then someone stuck a needle in her head and said, right, back you go.
No, we'll forget all that bit.
I'll forget all that bit. How do we forget that bit?
What I'm saying
So she died and she doesn't remember all her... This is a new life, is it?
Let me just leave you with this.
Right, you're talking shit. Explain yourself.
What I'm saying is, old people are scared of dying. When they're 77, they're going, oh, what's going to happen to me? Little injection in the head. When it's a baby, when it's like one, and everybody around it's going, yeah, it's going to die soon. Baby hasn't got a clue. It's happy. It's playing about with its rattle or whatever.
So it loses all its memories.
That's it.
And then what happens? So when does it die? When it gets to naught? When it's 0 days old? It goes through.
It just dies. People know. It's almost like a countdown. So the family's aware of it.
But aren't the family getting younger as well? What's happened to the family?
Forget it then, we'll leave it as it is.
No, leave it as it is, shall we?
Shall we? Can we all agree on that, guys? Now, should we agree to leave it as it is? Is that all right? Because I don't want to hear any more from the diaries of Charles Manson.
No, I mean, you're a fucking maniac.
If you're a maniac and you'd like to get in touch, then please email us at podcast@rickygervais.com. Doing a bit of Christmas shopping, Rick, the other day, and I was travelling around on the tube, the London Underground, the subway system for our American friends. And, as you know, but people around the world may not be so familiar, there's a recorded voice that you sometimes get on the tube that says, mind the gap.
Oh, yeah, before you open the door.
Yeah.
Mind the gap.
And the reason is that sometimes in some stations there is a gap between the train and the platform, and obviously, theoretically you could fall down.
And it's different sizes, so just that little reminder, mind the gap. You look down, It's safe.
Just makes you stop. Seems to make sense.
Yeah.
Saw a kid, teenager, wearing a t-shirt, don't know where he bought it. It just said, fuck the gap.
He was tired of it.
Yeah.
He didn't want to mind the gap.
But what I like is, what's he protesting about?
I don't
You know what I
know.
mean? It's not the police or the man keeping you